What's up, guys? This is going to be a little bit of a different video than normal. Normally, I'm obviously diving into League of Legends and specific things that are happening, games, VOD reviews, whatever. This video is essentially going to be about my plans for 2023 and why I've had to make certain decisions recently, mainly why I left Cloud9, because a lot of people were confused as to why this happened. A lot of people were assuming that Cloud9 must have did something wrong, or they did me dirty in some way, or maybe I did something up and I got kicked from Cloud9. But actually, I had a great relationship with Cloud9 the entire time, and like this article says, I ended up having to leave Cloud9 because of changes that happened with Twitch and how streamers are now going to be making their money in the future. To start off, Cloud9 was amazing to me the whole time that I was there. When I signed with Cloud9 originally, I was in the middle of my negotiations. Actually, before I even signed, I was in the middle of my negotiations with Cloud9 when I got banned from co-streaming, and they didn't walk back their deal. They ended up compensating me at the same rate that they agreed upon previously, even though they knew that when I got banned from co-streaming, my numbers were going to go down slightly. Not only that, Jack actually went with me to every single meeting that I had with Riot to try to get myself unbanned. So he sat in on every single one of those. We're talking like 8, 9, 1 hour long meetings spaced between when I got banned in July to when I got unbanned in January, and he really went to bat for me. He vouched for me, and I firmly believe that if he didn't end up doing that, I would have ended up being co-stream banned for the entirety of the year that they said I was going to be banned for. So I had a great relationship with Cloud9, and essentially the only reason I had to leave Cloud9 is because of the fact that Twitch refused to budge on the way that they hand out their ad incentive program. So here is a post from an article that was written about something that Twitch announced. There's a blog post back in, I believe, June, where Twitch announced that they were going to be doing a 50-50 sub revenue split for every single streamer on the platform. So if you had a 70-30 split previously, you'd be reduced down to a 50-50 split, but you wouldn't be gaining anything in terms of like, oh, we're going to be taking some money here, but you'll also have more options, or like your stream will be more optimized and you'll have higher stream quality. Nothing like that was actually offered. It's just purely they're going to be paying streamers less for the same amount of work that they're doing. This is actually the second time that Twitch has decided to cut sub revenue. The first time was when they changed the way that subs worked. So now if you sub from a country that has a like lower exchange rate to the dollar, the streamer still gets 70%, but they'll get 70% of whatever the person actually paid in US dollars. So if somebody pays, $5 in some currency that is worth a quarter of what the US dollar is worth, then you're going to only be making 70% of that 1/4 of the sub, not 70% on the $5 that you would if you were in the US, which is obviously a big change. So that was the first time that they hit how much streamers were making for subs, and the second time was this, which is huge because as a streamer, this is how I made my money. I don't play many ads. I didn't do that many bounties. I didn't do like merch through the site or any of the other things that you can do to make money on Twitch, because I was really happy with my sub count. And I think I had a little bit of like a weird mentality towards earning. I felt like I'm already making really good money. I'm living in a house that's significantly like nicer than the one I grew up in, and I felt successful enough that I didn't want to be greedy, I guess was my mentality, which I don't even think that being compensated fairly is being greedy. I think it's just what's right. If you're a top tier max contract level NBA player and you're getting paid $25 million a year, and players that are worse than you, like Tobias Harris is getting a max contract or some shit, you're going to want a max contract. You want to get paid fairly for what you're producing. And for years, I think I've just been essentially getting underpaid because I haven't been willing to really put myself out there. And that's going to change. But let's get back into the sub revenue split. So sub revenue split. Last year I had 54,000 subscribers. If I had a 70-30 split and everyone is from America, just to make this easy, I would have made, what the did I just do? Times 3.5. I don't know what I did on the calculator, but clearly I didn't do the right thing. I would have made 189K. Now with the new sub split, assuming that I had the same amount of subscribers, I would make $54,000 less, 135K. Now, the way that Twitch is trying to compensate for the money that streamers lost is by launching the ad incentive program. And the goal of the ad incentive program is to pay streamers more money for fulfilling a certain amount of ads. So doing like these, essentially like they would hand out monthly contracts to streamers to play a certain amount of ads per hour for a set amount of time, and they would give you a bonus essentially for the amount of hours that you streamed, or like if you were able to complete the contract. So this was one of the first ones I saw, which I decided to use here. King Gothalion is a streamer of similar size. I think like in terms of average view count, at the time that he got this, we were like neck and neck. Maybe we both were averaging around 4,000. So this is what other streamers around my size were being offered. And I was essentially not able to opt into this because of what my relationship with Cloud9 was. Because I was already a Cloud9 streamer, my numbers were being used for Cloud9. They weren't allowing me to opt into this ad incentive program, which obviously felt really unfair. And they weren't budging. They weren't allowing anything to happen. Essentially, they gave me an ultimatum. It's like, either leave Cloud9 and we'll give this to you, or you don't and you don't get it. And the most sensible option was to leave and take this deal, and be able to take my ad incentive programs. Now, this is the first one I got. Sorry, this is me asking Logan Paul to teach me the ways of CryptoZoo. He didn't respond for some reason, but yeah, go back to this. So I actually added a Cloud9. I said, yeah, take me back. I'm going homeless. Obviously, this is a joke, but this is my first ad incentive program that I got. Hopefully, they get closer to what this is. I think it's just a bad month. January, normally, there's not many people advertising. So it's lower in January. We're going to let it ride for a bit. But yeah, this is something that I needed to do, and Cloud9 helped me out. They didn't have to do anything like this. They could have just kept me under contract for another 9 months and, you know, not allowed me to pursue this. But Jack got on a call with me and he said, hey man, like you should do what's best for you. You should take it. Like if this is the way that Twitch is going to operate now, you have to just make the best of it. And if the shit hits the fan and they cut these deals or they remove the ad incentive program, then you can come back to Cloud9. So yeah, I had a great relationship with Cloud9, and I just wanted to get that part of it out there so people don't speculate that Cloud9 did anything wrong. They actually treated me like more than fairly the entire time. Now that we have got into the Cloud9 thing in detail and you guys understand why I was pretty much forced to leave Cloud9, we'll get into some of the announcements. So first announcement, I will be starting Chinese social media. Essentially, I will be doing Bilibili, which is like essentially YouTube/Twitch equivalent. I won't be live streaming, but I will be having my videos translated into Chinese on Bilibili, which is something that you guys actually alerted me to here on the channel. I read the comments, and one day I looked at the comments, and the most upvoted comment was talking about how he's a Chinese viewer, and actually my video was popping off in China. So I went and I looked at it, and actually had accumulated over 100,000 views in China. So I will be translating my content into Chinese, and I'll be posting it on Bilibili. Obviously, I'm not going to be translating it myself. I've hired a team. I'm working with an agency in China to do all this. I'll be translating my content into Chinese, posting it on Bilibili, as well as Douyin, which is essentially the Chinese equivalent of TikTok here in the United States. So that is what I'm doing as to like expand my brand over in China, because apparently a lot of my clips do well over there. I mean, I think that they just enjoy the way that I talk about League and the jokes that we make on stream. So that's something that I'm really excited about. I'm working with an agency. LPL actually introduced me to them, and we've been working on that for a while, and hopefully that will be up and running the second that LPL starts. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is going to be controversial, but I have decided to sign with Esports Bet for next year for LEC, pretty much everything I live view. So LEC, EMEA Masters, whatever LCS I can live view, MSI, and Worlds, I will be placing live bets online on my stream during these games, and I think it'll be just fun to do. I mean, I'm somebody who's been sports betting for a while. I know if you look at my my bookmarks here, you can tell that I've actually been playing for a little bit of time, and I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be a way to test myself. I obviously think that, you know, I have a lot of knowledge on League, but I haven't proven myself to be a profitable bettor, and I think that it'll just be another thing to track my progress. Like, how am I able to develop the skill with the knowledge that I have already on esports? Obviously, the money is great. Like, anytime you get any type of betting sponsor, the money is going to be there. That's obviously a huge incentive to do it, but I don't think that it's going to be something that detracts from my stream. I think it will actually add to my stream with the fact that we'll be tracking these things. We'll be able to look at the odds in between games, and I think that the odds are really interesting to look at when you're trying to predict games, because if you actually have better predictions, you can make money on bets. And obviously, most people won't. Most people will lose when it comes to betting, or these sets wouldn't be able to operate. But I want to be one of the people that actually ends up winning. So we will be raw balancing when we go on esports bet. Like every dollar that I lose will be a dollar that I could have just taken out. Like I'm not going to be using a fake balance. I will be raw balancing it, and I'm only going to be placing responsible bets. I think for me to feel okay about doing any type of betting sponsor, I'm going to be going within the bankroll that I've decided to put on. So the bankroll that I decided on for the year is $25,000, and I'm going to try to manage that bankroll throughout the whole year. So I'm going to start with, I think, $250 bets. And if I like drop to 15K, I'll probably lower it to $150 bets, probably keep my bets at around 1/100th of the overall bankroll that I have on the site, and we'll see how we do over there. There's a couple of things that I wanted to go into because I feel like people are going to have concerns. So the first concern that I saw the community had was streamer bets, and this was one of the concerns that I had when I first approached Esports Bet, because obviously there were streamer bets in the past, and the wording of one of their announcements is that they were thinking about bringing it back in the future. Pretty much said, hey, like I'm not comfortable with that. What are these esports bets in the future going to actually be? And what they assured me of is that the esports bet will not be for money. So you're not going to have people betting on streamers real money. They'll essentially be only able to bet DJT, which is the equivalent of like channel points. It's not an actual currency. It's a made up currency by the site. So you're not going to be able to actually bet on actual games with real money anymore on these sites. So streamer bets are not going to exist, which is one of the reasons why I'm willing to sign with them. And I think that it's something that they've learned from and they've removed, and they listened to the community on that, which I was really happy with. The second thing that I looked into was audience age, which I actually have here on YouTube. What is the age of people that watch me? Because obviously if I have a majority child audience, I wouldn't want to do something like this. I want people to be adults, and I want them to be responsible on the site. Like I've been able to be responsible as a sports bettor myself, and I'm only going to display myself betting responsibly, and I want everyone to be of an age, and this is what I have right now on YouTube. So the majority of people that watch me are of legal betting age. Like we are not going to be promoting betting to kids. And you know, I think if I do it well and I do it in a way that I see fit, and I'm somebody who actually just enjoys sports betting myself, like I don't see this as something that is like ridiculously negative, and I think that it'll actually be something that can benefit a lot of my content. So one of the ideas I have in the future is to add in what the rankings that ESB has previous to the splits. Like when I do my tier list, compare what my rankings are to what the ESB rankings are for those teams. So starting tomorrow, I'll be doing my first video, and I'll be doing my LPL tier list. And what I'll be comparing it to, so I'm going to create my tier list, and what I'm going to be comparing it to is what we have right here, which are the team statistics right here. So what we have is the odds to win LPL, right? So if you bet on a team like LGD, who has the lowest odds, they should be the worst team in the league, you would get 1,000 extra money, right? Now you shouldn't go bet on LGD because they're never going to win the split, or at least I think they're never going to win the split. But this is essentially functioning as a tier list of, you know, what they think is right as to who's going to win the split, and I'm going to be comparing my tier list to this tomorrow. So I think this is like an interesting way that we can work together and have the content be elevated, as well as like obviously be able to, you know, monetize my stuff even further. So this is something that I'll be doing for the next year. I'll probably be collabing with LS in some capacity, whether like we're going to be comparing our bets or we're going to be, you know, betting against each other, because there's peer-to-peer betting as well. There's a lot of stuff that we can do on the site. So I will be sponsored by Esports Bet for the next year. Anyways, I think that's pretty much it. LEC, MSI, Worlds will be the majority of the content that I'll be betting on when I do co-streams, which are obviously different than live views. So when I'm co-streaming LCS or I'm co-streaming LPL, I will not be betting on the games. I will not be bringing it up on the site. But I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be a good year in 2023. Hopefully you got some value out of this video. You understand, you know, where everything with Cloud9 happened, my partner for the next year Esports Bet, what I'll be doing with Chinese social media, and you have a better idea of how everything worked for me in the offseason. Anyways, streams will resume starting with LPL on the 14th. LPL co-streams, LEC live views, and LCS co-streams, they're all coming soon, and we'll be producing content on all of those as usual. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching, and yeah, have a good one.